15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the foot.
What's up again, folk? Welcome to the Auburn Huddle podcast where I look infinitely shorter than my father. And we present segment 1.
Yes.
Go.
It's going to have a lot to do with spring practice. I read an article, Harsin plans on a lot of good versus good in the A-Day game.
Yeah, one-on-ones.
Yeah, ones-on-ones. Yeah. I love it. I think it's the greatest idea Auburn's had since firing Gus Malzahn.
Yeah, I mean, it's low expectations. You know, it's sad that we get excited for stuff like this because, you know, most teams do one-on-ones in practices even if it's not just, you know,
a spring game.
Yeah, even if it's not just spring game, they go one-on-ones in practice, and that's very important to the development of the players.
Yeah, because you only get better when you play the best.
You know, I ain't played football since like 8th grade, and even I know that.
Yeah.
It's pretty much common sense. You go versus the best, you become the best.
Right. The Geese moved to defensive line.
I'm so sad. I'm going to miss him lining up the quarterback.
I'm not.
But
I'm not. I'm going to enjoy him landing on the quarterback.
Yes. The kid's a monster. One of the most freakish athletes actually on the team. He's 300 pounds and he can move very well. So I think that's really going to help him on the D-line.
Yeah. He got to learn how to use his hands, go back and forth with the offensive linemen. But, yeah, they said it so far it's been a smooth transition. Nick Eason working with him, teaching him how to do everything, teaching him how to place his hands, fight off blocks.
You know,
it's great.
I still hope we use him a little bit on offense, kind of like Mount Cody.
Yeah.
You know, as a lead blocker, maybe even give him one or two, like the refrigerator.
Yeah.
I call him the freezer.
The freezer.
Yeah, the kid is so athletic.
The young
man is so freakishly athletic. I hope I get to meet him if we go to the A-Day game.
Yeah.
I want to meet him.
I do too. Just, say hey.
You're really big.
Yeah, you're freaking huge.
The dude,
you're a monster.
He's so fast. It's
to be
insane.
That big, yeah.
I think that it'll really help him because, our offensive linemen and a lot of offensive linemen are not that athletic, so maybe he can use his athleticism like Aaron Donald uses his speed burst to be able to get off a lot of blocks. So as long as he can get in the weight room and cut his body fat down a little bit, I think he'll be a monster. Nose tackle not end. If we stay in a 4-3 not end, you know what I mean. Interior D tackle. He's very athletic for one of those.
Yeah. They held their second scrimmage of spring practice, and there was 3 to 4 turnovers in the game.
Yes. 2
of them the defense took back to the house.
I hope it's not just Bo being terrible again, but I think we'd have known that.
Yeah, I think it's just, it's a lot harder on an offense to learn a new offense and just go out there and play. Defense, you can go out there and do things a lot quicker than you can as an offense. I mean, we all know Derek Mason is still in the process of installing his defense. Yeah. But, the basic concepts of defense is see ball, get ball.
Yeah. And as former linemen, we even know that.
Yeah. Whereas on offense, you have different blocking schemes. You're going to be blocking different players. Routes, it's a big thing that I'm super excited about with the Harsin and Bobo regime coming in. I'm super excited about a real route tree being run.
Yeah, finally.
A lot of 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, but it just takes an offense longer than it does a defense because on defense, as long as you're lined up in the right spot, you know.
A lot of defense is more feel.
Yeah, using your eyes, you know, stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if I'm doing a very good job of trying to get what I want to say out of my head to come out of my mouth, but anyhow, that's where I'm going with it.
I want our DBs flying around like freaking banshees, because in football you can have all the knowledge and the ability,
Right.
but if you ain't going 100%, you're gonna get beat.
Right.
And on offense, obviously, Bo and Davis and Garnett and even Lloyd working to get the timing right. That's why a lot of backup quarterbacks, they get installed in the game, but they don't have the timing. No matter how much talent they have.
Right.
You got to have your timing down with these receivers, especially since they're very young receivers and they're finally being taught a proper route tree. Their eyes are opened up to a whole new world of football, whereas last year was kind of just like a read, slant, out, streak. Now it's a bunch of more combinations of routes, and Bo throwing to routes that some of them he hasn't seen since high school. And he's
if he saw them then.
Yeah, but I think he probably had more variety than with Gus last year.
Right.
But it's so much of the quarterback just mentally being prepared, and our defense doing some of the stuff that they did last year.
Right.
You know, obviously we have a new safety who hasn't played safety in a while, if he has ever played safety. But I'm glad to see our defense is getting up and getting around, and I hope that our offense just catches up eventually.
Right. You know, another thing is, I'm excited to see Bo, Mike Bobo, how he works with the talent we have at receivers. You know, we got a little guy burner or two.
Yeah.
You know, we got a big tall guy that's a 50-50 guy. You know, I like to watch the game and see how these coaches scheme these players open. You know, not necessarily, that guy's just a great athlete and he can just get open. He can create separation.
Yeah, it's not
it's seeing how the scheme and the route gets them open.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot harder on the DBs for other teams now that we have a variety. You know, the defenses, they could just read it last year. They obviously always knew, so it was Stove, Schwartz, and Seth Williams kind of fending for themselves to get open.
Right. Because if I never see another wide receiver screen from Auburn again, it'll be too soon.
Yes, it's every 3 or 4 plays you saw one.
Yes, I am so sick and tired of wide receiver screens and jet sweeps.
And they weren't even ran properly.
I am tired of wide receiver screens and jet sweeps. No more, please.
Especially since they were ran in such bad situations.
Yes.
It was 1st and 10, and it was a bubble screen.
Oh, and a sugar huddle.
Oh my God!
Oh, I'm so done. I'm so over the damn sugar huddle.
You know, it was cold first.
800 times.
Yeah.
But then you don't trick anybody. Everybody knows what's coming. Oh, they're 2 yards away from the football. Everybody clogged the middle of the field.
It would have been fine if it was like a 2nd and 7, we got a 6-yard game, and it was 3rd and 1, and we just went hurry up. That would have been fine.
Yeah.
But every down was a sugar huddle, unless we were coming out of timeout. It was so ridiculous, the redundance of it. Every game was the same story. It was like a middle school football coach. If our plan A works, great. Otherwise, we're screwed.
Yeah. And you could tell when, especially with Chip Lindsey, you could tell when Gus took his hands off.
Yeah, and we were doing great.
But then, I don't know, because I don't know Gus personally. I don't call him up and be like, hey man, how's it going? So I don't know, but it looked like to me that, Jarrett Stidham's first year, it looked like we started having success. Bam, bam, bam. Chip Lindsey's putting in good game plan after good game plan after good game plan.
Everything was phenomenal.
And then we get to the SEC championship game, and it's like, okay, if you win this game with you running your offense, it's like I'm not needed no more. You know what I'm saying? That's what I got to feel. Like he got jealous of the success that his offensive coordinator was having.
Yeah, you could see it from that perspective, and I honestly understand it. But I think Gus may have gotten nervous, and he was like OCD about it. Like he had to have something to do with it, because if it was out of his control, he lost, and it was Chip Lindsey's game plan, he'd have felt like he failed the team or something. Because that's what it seemed like. I don't think you're wrong, because it could have been that. It could have been just pure jealousy.
Yeah.
But it seemed like maybe it was just.
But we did lose.
Yeah, we did lose bad, terribly, and it was so bad because I felt terrible. Because then, when we went to the bowl game, Carry On's last carry as an Auburn Tiger was a fumble.
Yeah.
And it seemed like we failed it at that point.
Right.
And then the next year, we went to the Iron Bowl, and it's not good what Gus did, because Ryan Davis just made that game. We lost, but Ryan Davis, he broke the receptions record within the first quarter. But I think it was just pure luck. Because it was bubble screen after bubble screen. I don't think he caught a pass past the line of scrimmage until second quarter, maybe.
Yeah.
And I know Ryan Davis, that's kind of his thing, but he could have opened up the route tree to him a little bit.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, is that was the route tree for Gus's system.
Yes, it was, unless it was a guy like Seth Williams.
I mean, he still runs the same routes. It's just every throw's a 50-50.
Yeah, but it's like you can run these three routes, and you're only going to run these three routes.
Yeah.
And then with Schwartz, it was goes, a couple slants, and a couple screens. And then
jet sweeps. Don't forget.
Yeah, don't forget the jet sweeps.
Don't forget the jet sweeps.
They worked his freshman year, but then they caught up to it.
Yeah.
And then Eli Stove, he's so talented. He's not very fast, but he's a very talented receiver. If he was in Alabama's system, they'd have molded him into a greater receiver than he is.
Yeah.
Now he's just a return specialist with screen ability.
Right. And see, another thing, I don't want to make it seem like I'm just hating on Gus, because there's a lot of colleges out there that don't have a big boy route tree.
Yeah.
Georgia really, I know they run a more pro style offense.
Yeah.
But they don't have a big boy route tree.
And it shows with the receivers.
They run some post corners, slants. In the SEC championship game this past year, I believe it was the running back for Alabama, Harris.
Yeah.
I believe he run it was kind of like a hook and go. Like he run and started like he was coming back, like a hook route or a comeback, and then he cut it into a slant and scored.
Yeah, because
that's scheming your player open.
And that's a running back with more route running talent than any of our receivers have.
Yeah, it was just it just blew my mind. I was like, I've been watching football. I'll be 40 this year. I've been watching football 28 years, and I watched it before then, but like really getting into football, like learning positions and players and what they're supposed to do, stuff like that. Roughly 28 years.
Yeah.
And I've never seen that I can recall that route from a college team.
Yeah, especially a running back who's 6'2", 225.
Yeah.
Occasionally you might see a Reggie Bush blow your mind with some crazy route.
Yeah.
But Najee Harris built like Derrick Henry in college.
You
and
know.
that's what happens when you implement an offense that has such a variety.
Yeah, and I don't want to seem like I'm praising Alabama, but that was a very good, well-run, well-constructed play. Alabama's got their flaws. I heard Derrick Henry in an interview that he was like, I was told to hit this hole and at Alabama, and I hit that hole and run over everybody.
That's basically what Mike Vrabel does, ain't it?
I think there's more to it in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like he's got to read.
But, Christian Okoye, he came into the league. It was basically, you run this way.
Yeah.
Because when he came in, he didn't know which way to run, so they put arrows on the field to show him which way to run.
Yeah. But still, it's going to be nice to see a better route tree from our receivers. It's going to be, you know, if our defense in one scrimmage is getting 3 or 4 turnovers, you know, what can they do in a game?
Yeah, I know.
You know, that's what I love about it. That's what is getting me hyped up, because this defense is hyped up, and they're wanting to get the ball back to the offense.
Yeah.
Or like 2 out of the 3 or 4, they turned into offense.
Yeah, and you want that tenacity from a defense. I think that's what Zach Etheridge is bringing to our secondary.
Yeah.
You know, and Derek Mason being such a hands-on coach, getting out there with them,
Right.
I think is doing wonders for him. You know, Kevin Steele, 170-year-old self, can't get out there and play DB.
Right. But I ain't taking nothing away because Kevin Steele's defense at Auburn
Was phenomenal.
and it's like here the last couple of years it's kind of started tailing off a little bit, you know. But
that's
it was
what he
still
came
top
from.
5 in the SEC.
Yeah.
And this past year, I think it was just lack of a big man up front on the defensive line, or we'd have had one of the best defenses
Yeah.
in the nation. We didn't have that big Derek Brown
Yeah.
in the middle.
I love Daquan Newkirk, but he could not go toe-to-toe as a nose tackle or a interior D tackle. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was he didn't have the ability or if he was just too small.
Right.
Not everybody has Aaron Donald level talent.
Right. Well, yeah, there's 32 nose tackles in the game right now that don't have Aaron Donald level talent.
That man is 300 pounds. Pushing 300 pounds with a six-pack.
Yeah.
I wish I had that.
Yeah, you and every other man alive.
I'm 315 with boobs, so you know what I'm saying.
Moves. Got your moves, man.
But, you know, off my boobs and back to football, our defensive line is going to be a lot better this year, mainly because of depth. Maybe we don't have the Derek Brown D tackle.
Right.
But I think we'll work together.
Yeah, it has to.
And now we're seeing eye to eye again.
Yeah.
I just think our defense with a D-line coach young enough with the innovation and coming from the NFL, coaching guys like a DJ Reader in Cincinnati, I believe he coached DJ Reader and Geno Atkins. Even though Geno Atkins was older, learning from them and him teaching them, I think is going to do great because Cincinnati did have a solid D-line last year.
Yeah.
But I think that's really going to help our D-line be more together, and you know, Schmetting and Derek Mason helping with the linebackers, and obviously Mason and Etheridge going with the DBs. I'm out of freaking breath. I think it's just going to be so well put together.
Yeah. Well, quit getting so excited. We still got some months before football season gets here. I can't agree with you more, and I think to flip over to the offensive side, you know, I've been reading we're getting some offensive linemen interested. You know, Wilfred is going out there. He's putting the work in, talking to these recruits and getting them excited about, you know, what Auburn has to offer. I think once the season starts and these offensive linemen start seeing what Wilfred can do, what Auburn is doing on the offensive side, I think it will pick up. Yeah, I know I read a lot of comments on other articles and on some of the other pages I follow on YouTube that you know, every offensive lineman that they're going after is a 3-star. I don't care what star it is.
Yeah, it doesn't really
You know,
matter.
but they're going after 4 stars. You know, but you know, it just so happens right now the 3 stars are the ones that are, you know, have high interest in coming to Auburn right now, which is fine. I don't care. You can be a 3-star as long as you develop and play like a 5-star.
Now, I'm not trying to disrespect Cyrus Quanzo, but he is evidence. One of the best offensive line recruits ever to ever come play football. And he's evidence that it doesn't always work out. And who's the guy that we picked up that was a 5-star tackle?
Calvin Ashley.
Yeah, he ended up not working
Yeah,
out.
he wound up transferring.
FAU, something like that?
I forget. Maybe he transferred back home to Maryland. I forget. But
It's about the coaching, not always the player.
yeah, I mean, it don't matter what star you are coming into college. It's all about developing the player and getting the best out of them. You know, I mean, I go back to this all the time, and there's a reason Alabama is on the top of the mountain and hadn't fell off yet.
Yeah.
You know, Josh Jacobs, one of the better running backs in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
And he was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school.
Yeah. Straight out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. They stole him
Yeah.
from Oklahoma, who wasn't even looking at him. Yeah, Skip Bayless knows that pain.
Yeah, and he never was a starter at Alabama.
Yeah.
Never was a starter. He always come off the bench.
Yeah, but he was that change of pace, not necessarily change of pace, like catching the ball and all that. He just came in and he changed the dynamic of the game when he was in
Yeah,
the
because
game.
he hit the hole hard as hell, and when he hit the hole, he was wide open.
Yeah, he ran with his freaking head on fire. That's why Nick Saban loved him so much.
Yeah.
That's why the Raiders picked him first round. John Gruden building that place back up.
You know, I mean, that's like Daniel Thomas for Auburn. I mean, he was a 2-star recruit coming out of, I believe it was Robert E. Lee High School in Montgomery.
Something like it.
Yeah, and he's going to be in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know,
I
I
think
mean,
he's already in the NFL.
he might be.
I ended up picking him up in Madden, put him in as my sub linebacker, kid dominated.
But, you know, that's the star power, it looks good on signing day. And that's all it is.
Yeah.
You know, it looks good on signing day. You still have to get the kids in there and develop them. And I understand somebody in the comments is going to be like, yeah, but you got less to develop if it's 5-star. Sometimes no. Sometimes, you know.
Look at Hunter Bryce. He went to Clemson, got his job stolen by Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. You know, sometimes, you know, you pick a kid and he just don't fit.
Yeah. Look at Alabama. Mac Jones, 3-star. Ben Roethlisberger coming out of high school, 3-star. It doesn't really matter that much. Josh Allen, really great kid, really great football player, 3-star. Aaron Rodgers coming out of high school, no star, JUCO.
Yeah.
It's not always about the stars.
Well, I mean, you know, you also got to look at Mahomes went to Texas Tech.
Yeah, I think he was like 3-star. Baker Mayfield walked on twice.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
You know, I mean, it just, I don't know. I feel like I'm just beating on this horse. But
Keep beating it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care about the star power. You know, I mean, Auburn missed out. So far, they've missed out on Emmanuel Henderson. I mean, they still got a long time before National Signing Day or even the early signing period. You know, they could, but if he don't come, he don't come. It's not the end of the world. You know, I just read, you know, before we did this, that they're looking at a kid in Virginia, number 10 running back in the nation. He's a 4-star kid, you know, and he was excited to get an offer from Auburn.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I would rather have the 4 and the 3 and the 2 or whatever star power they are. But I want them to be excited about being at Auburn.
Byron Cowart is the main
Yes.
thing we can show. He came here
Because of Muschamp.
and he knew Muschamp was just going to up and leave. And Byron Cowart, we met him. He didn't even look excited at A-Day.
Yeah.
I still got my hat signed by him because
I mean, the dude was huge.
massive.
He had all the physical tools, but he couldn't. Coach Garner, he's hard on his players.
Yeah.
And he couldn't take the hard coaching.
And I'm not mad at Byron Kirk.
No.
You know, he ended up in the league. He's on the league on the Patriots right now, being coached by Bill freaking Belichick.
And he's getting paid to play.
Yeah, and he's a rotational guy, and he's not bad or anything, but he just didn't want to be here, and that's why people like that get their job taken.
Yeah.
Mac Jones beat out Bryce Young 5-star.
Well, I don't really say he beat him out. I mean, last year they really didn't have, a spring. Bryce Young didn't have a lot of time to learn the offense.
But if Mac Jones came out and played like total garbage, he'd got his job taken like that, and Nick Saban don't play that.
All right. I agree with you. And I'm not high on Bryce Young. I really don't think it's going to be that good.
We're Auburn fans, man. I mocked Mac Jones after he just dominated us. So, our opinion don't really matter that much. But
it is what it is.
you want
I don't see what everybody was oohing and ahhing over Bryce Young.
But a lot of people think the same thing about Demetrius Davis.
They do, and that's fine. I'm not trying to hate on him because he's at Alabama. He could have went to USC, and I don't see it.
Yeah, and I think he made a great decision going to Alabama. But Sark's gone. But Bill O'Brien, as much as you hate him as a GM and as a coach, that man can run an offense.
He always had a good offense at Houston,
except for last year. But man,
I don't know. His quarterback was over 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns.
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that's a beast.
But, I'm sure that Coach Harsin feels the same exact way. He had Doug Martin 2-star, J.J. like 3-star. The guy who's the backup running back to Derrick Henry, I think he was like 2-star.
Yeah.
But so Coach Harsin, I feel like Bo Nix, you play like total garbage first game, he's going to get his job taken. Coach Harsin seems like the guy. He's going to play the best guy, don't matter who it is.
Yeah.
And Gus just wasn't that way.
No, Gus had his picks. A little side note, Boise State's got a tight end in this draft. Doesn't do anything great, but does everything good. I mean, somebody going to pick him up.
Yeah.
He's like 6'5". I forget his name. He's like 6'5", 240, 250.
I honestly don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Boise State tight end in the draft.
I don't know why I can't think of him.
But anyhow, you ready to go on? Move on to another subject?
I guess we've been talking for, well, that time's not accurate. We stopped it twice, so I'm guessing 30 minutes.
All right. Let's talk about how Aaron Rodgers is going to wind up being the Jim Kelly of the NFC.
If you won't stop playing.
I ain't playing, man.
I'd say watch your haircut, but you don't got one.
I ain't playing, man. He's been to back-to-back NFC Championship games and back-to-back NFC Championship game losses.
Look,
This time, his defense got him the ball back 3 times on his side of the field.
Yeah, that was a great free play. That was a great free play. I'm not going to argue with you. Jair snagged that thing. But, you got to play great the rest of the game, too. You got to stop him on 3rd down. You got to do everything right.
But you get the ball 3 times and you get 3 points.
But look, Tom Brady, you cannot make mistakes. But Tom Brady made 3 of them. I'm trying to think right now. The defense at Green Bay has always been bend, don't break. And we were bend, don't break, but we freaking broke. We let Chris Godwin on a pitch. We knew it was coming. We knew Tom Brady was about to sneak that from like 3 yards out. And we still couldn't find a way to get in there and make the stop. Now, I get it. Chris Barnes, I don't think was on the field that play. You had Ty Summers in. But you got to make that stop. You got to at least try and get Aaron the ball back. Because, even if you have 3 seconds and Aaron has the football, you're shaking in your boots.
But you had 3 possessions
Yeah.
that you took from them.
Yeah.
And you got 3 points.
Kevin King had one job. don't get burnt by Scotty Miller. And what happened?
Tom Brady threw a perfect pass.
He could have thrown it 5 yards off, and it would have still been. He still caught it. Kevin King, look, this is a perfect impersonation, and I'm gonna get up to show you. This was Kevin King, just freaking swimming, trying to catch up to him. He had one job, to not get burnt, and I don't care how bad Mike Pettin drew that play up. How you gonna get burnt by a rookie? Twice. Got burnt by Scotty Miller, then got burnt by Tyler Johnson. And they're both solid receivers. They're both pretty good receivers. And this is why I'm so salty that Kevin King's going to be back on the football team this year.
Y'all could have went out and got a door.
We have no money. You know, because we're paying Preston Smith $17 million.
Paying Zadarius, too.
Yeah, but Zadarius actually plays good football. We have Rashawn Gary on the other side. I don't know why we didn't just, kick Preston aside. And I like Preston Smith. He's a good player who had a great season last year, the year before last. And I give Aaron a good amount of a load of that loss.
Yeah.
But you got to look at left tackle out.
Still had a chance.
You know who was blitzing from the left side? Can you name him?
Shaq Barrett.
Exactly my point. And on the other side, JPP, I don't care. He's the claw. And he was getting around Rick Wagner.
Listen, this is what it boils down to.
Bullet down for me.
All right. He don't want that smoke from Tom.
Oh, Tom was playing safety.
He don't want that smoke. I'm telling you, he ain't gonna want it this year either. I think Tom's going back to back. Everybody wants to put, and I mean everybody. I'm talking from any sports little hole in the wall newscaster to everybody at ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS, all of them. They want to put Aaron Rodgers up there with Tom Brady. You can't do it.
I get your point. I'm glad you're not up here just going freaking 7. There's no argument because Tom is obviously the greatest of all time. He's the greatest quarterback ever.
Yeah,
But
I do that sometimes just to irritate you. But there's more to it than that. I mean, look at how many times Tom has come up clutch in the playoffs.
I get it. But if there's one guy outside of Eli Manning that I would give a good shot at taking out Brady, it is Aaron Rodgers.
Pat Mahomes.
Pat played phenomenal in that Super Bowl. There were so many freaking drops. I don't care what anybody says. Pat Mahomes played his butt off in that Super Bowl, and he's getting hate. And I don't want to go off on this tangent, but Pat, he played very well, especially since like 3 of his offensive linemen were people he pulled out of the stands. Aaron, I get when people say he needs another weapon, but it's not the offense that's the problem. It's that defense that we can't fix it. We haven't had a good defense since the Super Bowl run. And even then, it was terrible. It was terrible in the regular season, but in the playoffs, they just turned it on, because you had Charles Woodson, A.J. Hall, Clay Matthews, I think B.J. Raji in the middle. I bet he's in your freaking nightmares from that pick 6 you had on your boy. That defense in it just jailed at one point. And that was the best team I've ever seen the Packers beat. And then the second would probably be the run-the-table year just because we were not talented, but we somehow made it happen. But this Packers thing, I don't know what it is. We can't fix the defense. No matter which guy we get, whether it's freaking Don Capers, Mike Pettin. Mike Pettin, one of the greatest high school football coaches ever, but when he came to the league, it was just terrible. And then up front, we got Kingsley Keke, so much talent, and you obviously got Kenny Clark and Dean Lowry, who's okay. We can't stop the run. no matter who we put at linebacker, Kamal Martin did a solid job last year. Chris Barnes did a solid job last year. And we let Blake Martinez walk, and I was hating on him. Then he just goes out and freaking balls in New York. I don't know what it is. Why are we so bad? How about you explain it to me? Why can't we stop anything? We can't stop a cold. Jair balls out. 2 great safeties. What is it?
Well, I'm going to put it to you this way. Penalties.
It's not even penalties.
Son, it was a penalty at the end of that game.
Yeah, but it's Kevin King. You know, he's not a Packer anymore until proven. He's a Pecker until he's a Packer. That's how it should be in Green Bay. You're a dick until you become a Packer. Because he can't, for the love of God, he can't cover me. He tethered himself to it. It was ridiculous. I mean, Tyler Johnson obviously flopped. He shouldn't have failed. But you gave it to him. He had him on that play. If he wouldn't have been holding him, he could have still reached out, and that would have not have been a catch.
Hindsight's 2020.
Hindsight, no, do not relate anything to 2020. I know I'm really emotional, and it's a lot of non-facts. Let me get to the facts then. This mock draft that we're about to do here.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what position should the Packers go first round?
I say trade up and get a weapon.
Say trade up, get a weapon, just go all in.
Hey, listen, I hear you. I hear what you're saying about your defense. I really do. I really do. But okay, you got arguably the best wide receiver in the game.
I think he is.
I think D-Hop is. That's why I said it's arguable.
Yeah.
We both agree he's great.
One of the best route runners the league's ever seen.
Yes, he is great. Excuse me. He don't drop anything.
Nope.
He
He got one drop.
very seldom has a drop.
And it was just because he tried to body catch it.
Anyhow, you double him and I'm sorry, MVS, Lazard.
Lazard's solid, but he's just kind of a guy that moves the chains and you throw him up.
Yeah, I mean, come on, really.
But Tunyon, I think he's an all-pro level. Not all-pro level.
I'm
Pro Bowl level
not
type.
talking about tight end. I'm talking receiver. You got a good running back. Aaron Jones is a really good running back.
Yeah, I think he's top 10. Top 5, maybe.
You know, but, okay, you trade up in the draft and you give a quarterback of that caliber, and Aaron Rodgers, for all the hate I give him, he's up there.
Very much
I mean,
so.
you know, you have to, when you talk about Mount Rushmore,
He's going to be etched up there.
you gotta put him in there because he's just, he goes out and does his job. You know, he might throw for 179 yards this game, and the next game throw for 479 yards.
Just whatever it takes to win.
You get him a Jalen Waddle, a Devante Smith.
But the thing is, the Packers, I don't know what it is. They don't like those guys. I don't know what it is. Like, you know,
You even get him a Rashad Bateman.
I know, but it's I don't know what it is for freaking Goody.
Elijah Moore.
He just wants really tall guys that are fast. That's all he thinks about. You know, MVS, Jamon Moore, who's another guy we drafted, EQ. He just drives these ridiculously tall people who 9 times out of 10 don't kiss anything, who can just run fast.
So what do you think? He's going to wait till the 3rd, 4th round and draft
I thought that last year. We
Tomorrow-
drafted nothing. We drafted
Maury and Terry or the receiver out of Florida State?
Yeah, we're going to draft somebody like that probably. But last year, we drafted, you know, a backup running back who was 250. He played okay. You know, he had a great game against Tennessee, but I could run on Tennessee. And then we drafted Josiah where it tears his ACL game 2. He wasn't going to be worth anything in the pass game anyway. He's a very good blocker, H-back guy. You know, if you're an OG of the channel, you know 6'2". I don't know what we're going to do as far as receiver goes. I hope we draft maybe a Kadarius Toney.
Elijah Moore.
You know, an Elijah Moore, maybe Tylen Wallace, I think, would be fine. Rashad Bateman would be great.
Jalen Waddle, you would kiss the ground.
I'd freaking bust everywhere if we got Jalen Waddle, but it's just good. You don't want those guys. I don't know what it is.
You have to give him another weapon.
And I know we do, but right tackle, we have to solve it. Billy Turner, he played okay. We have Lucas Patrick in the middle. He's a solid run blocker, solid pass blocker.
I understand all these things. I thought that the Packers should have said screw the draft, cut some players, and got Galladay for y'all.
And I'd love it to be a splash guy, but I don't know where we're gonna find money.
Well, I understand that, but you cut some guys here, restructure some guys here, move this, move that, and bada bing, bada boom, you got $17 million to play with this year.
But listen to me, Dave. Halfway through last year, I got excited because we signed Seth Roberts. Didn't play down. And half you people don't know who Seth Roberts is. I watched his highlights. It was 3 years grouped into one. It was a 5-minute highlight reel. And I was ecstatic because we signed somebody who can run and catch. Gutekunst, he went one draft. He drafted Jamon Moore, EQ, and then MVS, or in some order. And then he hasn't drafted a receiver since. And I don't know what we should do because corner, we need it. Linebacker, we need it. Tackle, we need it. Receiver, we kind of need it. But
you need a number two. You got number one. Your number one and your number two neither one of them need to be a revolving door.
I know. The Bills kind of did it. They got Stephon Diggs. They had John Brown who could play the number two. Then you had Cole Beasley. But we
in the slot.
We had.
They knew their place.
And Madden, it's a 99 Devante, 75 Lazard, 74 MVS. It was such a freaking drop off. And I want a number two, but it's like, Dad, you like cake, right? You love cake. But you need water to live, so you're going to go buy the water. We're stuck. We got like 3 things of water, and we kind of, we need this too. What are we going to do? We got to pay the water bill, power bill, and then we got to pay the internet. Which one you going to pay? And I'm making no sense right now. But you get the gist, right?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't need Aaron Jones. You don't need him. At the end of the day, you don't need Saquon Barkley. You don't need Christian McCaffrey. Who the hell did the Bucks just win the Super Bowl with?
You had Jones, Fournette, and then a little bit of Shady in there, a little bit.
Yeah, not real good.
Not great.
You open up a big enough hole for him, he can go 30 and score.
Leonard Fournette had that crazy play where he bounced off 3 of our D linemen. How are you 6'5", 300 pounds, can't tackle?
Who was the fucking running back for the Kansas City Chiefs year before this one?
I think it was.
Yeah, that's what everybody said. I think it was. You don't need Aaron Jones. You don't need Saquon Barkley. You don't need Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
What you do need, 2 good receivers.
Or one great and just one solid.
Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Packers, and I don't want people thinking that, the Packers, you're not saying they shouldn't have signed him. It was obviously a tough decision.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'd have been perfectly fine if we'd have just let him walk and then, re-sign Jamal Williams 1 year, 2 years, $6 million.
Yeah.
We'd have been fine because, Aaron won the Super Bowl. James Starks was in his backfield because Ryan Grant was hurt.
Yeah, undrafted free agent, if you didn't know.
Yeah, Ryan Grant, I love Ryan
From the
Grant.
Giants.
Ryan Grant was a Madden legend for me on Madden 12. But that's besides the point. They won it because they had Donald Driver, Greg Jennings, And then that defense, you know, Charles Woodson, he obviously went out in the Super Bowl, but you still had A.J. Hawk, Clay, B.J. Raji, all these guys. Running backs is kind of the last thing you really worry about on the team.
You like having Derrick Henry if you're Tennessee.
Yeah.
You like having that battering ram.
Yeah. But, you know, Ryan Tannehill's still your quarterback.
You don't need it.
Yeah, you don't need it to win.
You know, I like beer, but I don't need beer.
Unless you're Charlie Sheen.
You know, but that's where they're at. So I see Aaron Rodgers' future in Green Bay playing out the same way it has the past 4 years.
And that's so sad to say, but if we don't do something, make a big shake, something, go get another corner, go get an elite linebacker, something.
Minnesota's getting better.
Yeah, but Minnesota.
They are Minnesota, but just listen, Minnesota's getting better. The Giants are definitely getting better. I mean, they went out and spent a fortune this year.
Yeah, they
to speed up the process. And they're probably taking Devante Smith, Jalen Waddle, whichever one's sitting there at 11.
Yeah.
The NFC teams, San Francisco's getting better.
The football team's getting better.
The football team's getting better. Dallas has got Dak back.
Yeah, but it's Dallas.
I understand. Arizona's getting better. Seattle still ain't gonna go nowhere.
Unless they trade Russell Wilson.
You know, these are Tampa Bay brought everybody back.
I don't know how. I guess they just have all the money, I guess.
You know, New Orleans is gonna have a quarterback next year that can actually push the ball further than 10 yards down the field.
And he can run. He can run. That guy's. Now, don't roast me in the comments because this is an actual fact. He's more athletic than Lamar Jackson.
Which one are you talking about? Taysom?
Taysom, yes. And just Google it. Just Google it. Just watch him. Now, he's not going to have near long as a career just because of the way he plays. But he is more athletic. Not nearly as good a player, but he's more athletic.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, these are all teams that you got to go through in the NFC.
And, you know, I just feel like the Packers.
The Rams signed Stafford. The Rams are going to be better.
Yeah, they traded for Stafford.
Yeah, traded for him.
And they got Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. And they still got Big Whitworth on the left. And that defense, that was freaking dominant last year. They lost their D coordinator. But, you know, they went from Wade Phillips to the other guy. Who knew who he was? But he had balling this year.
Yeah, I mean.
They got Jalen Ramsey. But the Packers, now I'm not saying go crazy.
No, but
Goody, he's got to start worrying about the future.
Giving Kenny Galladay $17 million a year, you basically you're in the Super Bowl.
But you know, it's kind of like you hold on to the past for so long you forget where you are now. It's the same with the future. You focus so much on the future that you don't know where where you are today. Yeah. You know, today you have a Hall of Fame level quarterback who doesn't have a whole lot left. You have a quarterback right now who just had one of the best years of his career. You have a quarterback right now, and you have one of the best left tackles in the league. I think he's the best. You have the best receiver in the league. Ronnie Stanley. You know, fine.
Ronnie Stanley, whatever his name is.
You got Devante Adams. When's the last time you saw a receiver that could run routes this well? It's been so long. Was it Jerry Rice?
Yeah, Michael Irvin, Chris Carter.
Yeah, it's been so long. Chris Carter, very forgotten about guy. It's been so long since you had, think about it, one of the best nose tackles, 2 very good safeties, one of the best corners in the league.
I got him as the best.
All right, let's go about this. Best corner, and this is my opinion, best corner, best receiver, best left tackle, best quarterback, arguably. top 5 running back. How are we not? How have we not been in the Super Bowl in so long? How have we not gone back, at least gotten it? Jared Goff got to the Super Bowl.
Off a holding penalty. I'm sorry, PI that wasn't called.
Yeah.
Off PI that wasn't called.
I don't want Aaron's career to end like Drew Brees' did, where he played 5 years after his arm gave out.
Yeah.
I don't want Aaron. If Aaron went to the Super Bowl this year and won it and walked away, I would be perfectly okay with it. He won it his first year as a starter, his last year as a starter, and he left. I'd be perfectly fine with it. Just get him another one. Packers fans will have peace if we get Aaron another ring, because he has fought tooth and nail for this franchise for so long and has been rewarded with one great receiver. He's thrown 1 touchdown to a first-round pick, which, that's a flawed statistic, but it's what you've given him a great left tackle who you just found somehow. It wasn't even intentional. We've given him defenses that had Dom Capers and Mike Pettin at the helm. We held on to Mike McCarthy long after. It's time that we stop running ourselves as mom and pop shop, just trying to stay good. And how about now the happy time and we go mock draft?
I'm gonna give you a breather. I'm gonna give mine first.
Okay.
New York Giants, 6th round mock draft because they don't have a 7th round pick. All right. At 11, I had Devante Smith going to the Giants because Waddle and Chase were gone. I think it's a flawed way of thinking in the NFL draft because we all remember the 1 year Jamar Chase had. It was a fabulous year.
Phenomenal.
I mean, before that, his freshman season, he had 333 receiving yards, and I think 3 touchdowns. Had the great sophomore year, sat out the junior year.
Yeah, and we were talking about this earlier. You brought up a great point. People need to stop saying the COVID thing shouldn't affect the draft stock. We're human. We go based off what we've seen lately.
Yeah. People want to say, oh, well, he had COVID, you can't, or he stayed out for COVID, you can't hold that against him. I completely agree with you. You can't hold it against him. But you can't not move the people that played up because they did play.
And we're not saying that Jamar Chase shouldn't have sat out. It was his option.
Yeah, I'm not hating on him for it. But, okay, you sat out. You didn't produce back-to-back years.
And he's still going to be a first-round pick.
Yeah, Devante Smith. I know I'm beating the hammer for an Alabama kid, but there's nothing he can't do on a football field.
Apparently, except gain weight.
And there's nothing he can't do. He can make all the catches. He can run all the routes. He's got speed.
Honestly, if this kid was 195 pounds,
he'd be the number 1 receiver taken.
And he'd be hyped up to be one of the best ever. But he looks like a corpse.
That's why they call him the Slim Reaper.
And I think
because he'll kick your ass in a heartbeat.
And he's quiet too, which is great. He's not out here like T.O., which no, they don't T.O. I love T.O.
Yeah, T.O. was a beast.
But it's just, I can't get past the fact that he's 165 pounds. Don't give me the 175. He is not 175.
And if any of y'all remember our videos from last year around this time, you don't fill needs in the first round.
Yeah, I think you go best player available.
You go best player available. And in my opinion, this was the best player available because of the character issues with Michael Parsons. I think Michael Parsons is probably, 3rd best player in this draft. In my opinion, you got Penei Sewell, you got Kyle Pitts.
You're going besides Trevor Lawrence, right?
I don't think Trevor Lawrence is the best player in this draft. He's the best quarterback.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is.
I
just went Skip Bayless on.
You got Kyle Pitts, and then I think Michael Parsons.
Yeah, they're great players.
You know,
And I don't know if I
and
necessarily
two of them didn't even play this year, Panay or Michael Parsons.
Yeah. The
But,
only
but
problem.
anyhow, the character issues. I got Devante Smith going number 11.
The only problem I have with this is just the size, man. He's so skinny. I think he could wipe his ass with a squeegee. And one wrong landing on the tailbone, he's out the rest of the year.
Very possible.
I don't know. I just can't get past it.
But I'm the GM for the Giants right now,
But
and
think about it.
it don't bother me his size because he's got 4 years of production
Yeah.
in the SEC,
But think about it, Dad.
dominating.
You gotta look at him being underweight the same way you look at it. If he was overweight, one of the main reasons Devontae Adams fell so far, he was overweight, and he was big, but then he got smaller. He needs to be eating 3,500 calories a day. You gotta get the weight up.
And that's fine. And I will let my team that I have working with these kids, training them in New York, I'll let them put the weight on it. I'm going to give you the best player available. You do with him what you need to do.
Yeah.
All right. So, everybody knows offensive line's an issue for New York Giants.
Yeah, Stevie Wonder could see that.
You know, it got better as the year went along. It did. And at the end of the year, they were clicking pretty good.
Yeah. Nick Gaines, I
We
think-
still don't know about Shane Lemieux. We don't know if he's going to be a starter. And we don't know if we're going to keep Hernandez long term. So, second round, pick 42, Wyatt Davis.
I like it.
He can play all 3 interior spots, I think. And he's a mauler. He's a bruiser. He's a big guy, you know.
Big 5 school.
Yeah.
Power 5.
Strong guy, you know, and he does his job well. I think he's an immediately plug and play.
Yeah. And we know how Getty. Do you have a nickname for your team?
Sometimes it's dumbass. You know, Gettleman.
Yeah,
You
them
know,
New Yorkers, man, they are ruthless.
But I gotta say it. Last year, you know, I was beating on him. I was on him. You know, you really, and I had to take my glasses off and really look at it. You know, outside of the signings he made when he first got there, of our left tackle, Nate Solder.
Yeah.
At the time, that was a good signing.
Yeah, nobody
Nate
knew
Solder
he
was
just
one of the
gonna-
best left tackles in the game.
Yeah.
You know, but outside of those, you know, he's drafted well. You know, this year especially, you know, in free agency, he signed and filled holes.
Yeah. And
I don't think all right, people want to say he overpaid. He overpaid for a COVID year.
yeah.
Next year, when the cap goes up, the pay don't go up.
Yeah, that's why, Kirk Cousins signing at first, well, I mean, they ruined it when they re-signed him again. But at first, it was 3 years, $84 million guaranteed. Are you kidding me? But then as, the cap went up, yeah, it
Balances out.
yeah.
You know, so anyhow,
The only blunder,
Gettleman loves his hog mollies. I got him getting a hog molly in the second round.
the only blunder he's had is when he was sitting in a room by himself on draft night wearing a mask.
No, he wasn't by himself, but there was some kind of issue. I think his wife or I think Gettleman has had cancer 2 or 3 times.
He was by himself.
No, there was a camera crew down there with him.
Oh, I thought it was just like.
How the hell do you think they got the damn footage?
Well, I didn't think that they
You
had.
think he pulled his iPhone out and went live?
I don't. All I'm saying is the way I saw it was he was just sitting there by himself.
No, with his binders. Yeah. All right, round 3, pick 76. Boogie Basham, Carlos Basham, edge. We got to fix the edge.
Now, I don't know if he'll fall that far, but Daniel Jones just skyrocketed a month before the draft. So
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen, and the kid's he's really good coming off the edge.
Yeah, he's pretty solid.
We let Devante Smith go, so I don't know if they're going to move Dexter Lawrence inside. I don't know what they're going to move Leonard Williams inside.
Well, I mean, they got Danny Shell.
Yeah, well, they got Danny Shell. That's Band-Aid. You know, but we
I think
really
Carlos
need.
Bash would end up playing outside linebacker.
He might. You know.
I think he's a little too small to be playing interior 3-4.
No, that's why I was saying, are they going to move one of them two? Both of them are over 300 pounds.
Yes, Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence. Huge humans.
Yeah. You know, that's why I was saying, I don't know if they're going to move one of them in, but my other thing I was going to say was they could, you know, he could be an edge in 3-4, which is what we run. We're running 3-4, outside linebacker. It's an edge, damn it.
Yeah.
They come up and put their hand in the dirt.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Fourth round, 116. I got them filling the hole that is beside Blake Martinez's middle linebacker with Dylan Moses.
Man, I can't see him falling that far.
And the only reason I picked Dylan Moses here is because KJ Britt was off the board.
Yeah. Dylan Moses, obviously so much talent.
There is a ton of talent there, and I think he lived on that talent in Alabama. I do not believe he didn't impress me at Alabama. There was quite a few times he was out of position, and he missed tackles. You know, I watching him and watching a film breakdown on him, I believe that a lot of it's in between the ears. I think he overthinks everything.
Yeah.
Because if my memory serves me correct, he wasn't a linebacker coming out of high school. I think he was an athlete. I think he played both sides, both ways, offense and defense. And Alabama moved him to linebacker.
Maybe.
I'm not sure. I could be wrong. Could be thinking about somebody else. But our first pick in round 6, 196, got an electric player, Shi Smith. This kid is he's short, he's compact, he's fast. You get the ball in his hands and he makes shit happen.
Yeah.
And if he's sitting there in the 6th round, I got no problem taking it.
I think that works.
And you can never have enough corner depth. And I think Shakur Brown here at 201 out of Michigan State, I think he can play some safety and some corner, kind of feels a need there. You can play both of them. I see his best fit as a nickel corner, but that's just me.
Now, how about we go old school Bubba and old man and outgrade your draft?
Okay.
Let's do it. Overall, I give your draft a solid B+. Only because I don't think you went enough offensive line. Obviously, offensive line is a huge issue in New York.
Well, the reason I didn't go more offensive line is because we got Andrew Thomas on the left side. He's the anchor. All right. We got Nate Solder, who's going to start on the right side next year.
That's a bit of a problem. Continue.
We got Matt Kirk, who was our 3rd round pick last year. When he got in and played, he played really good. All right, he come out of Connecticut and he was supposed to be, this really good run blocker. Turns out when he hit the NFL, he learned how to pass block. He was a better pass blocker than he was run blocker. All right, and on the inside we got Hernandez, at guard. We got Lemieux right now at guard.
And then Nick Gates at center.
And Nick Gates at center. And
Filled
of
up
course,
position
we
really
let Zeitler walk.
Yeah. I think it was more about money, but Zeitler is a very good guard.
He was the best offensive lineman we had.
In a long time, actually.
Yeah. And well, it was the best one we had on the team last year.
Yeah.
But it was money. I think he was done with New York because I believe if he would have been willing to restructure, he'd still be there.
Yeah, he ended up getting a pretty good job out there in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Blocking for phenomenal quarterback. But yeah.
I thought he went to Baltimore.
Are you sure?
I can't remember.
Man, I feel like I'm going crazy. I don't know. I just thought I saw him on Kansas City.
Yeah. Anyhow, he went to another team.
Yeah. So overall, B plus, maybe A minus.
Well, and another thing is you can only draft the offensive linemen that are there.
Yeah.
I would have went offensive line at 11, but there was nobody at 11. Nobody that I thought deserved being picked at 11.
Yeah, and I get that. I just
The
feel
hell
like
are you doing?
looking up where Zeitler went. Yeah, you were right. Baltimore. Dang it, I don't know where I saw him went to Kansas City. Maybe, I don't know. I don't feel like making myself look more stupid.
That's all right.
Claiming somebody else went to Kansas City. But, yeah, it's like the Packers went last year. They loaded up John Runyon, guys like that. He ended up playing pretty well when they got in. Of course, when people got hurt.
Yeah. All right. Let's hear it.
Green Bay.
Let's hear Goody's.
I have first round, obviously. I think they go linebacker. I also think this will probably be the best player available, and that is Xavin Collins. I love him. I think he's one of the more, he can play all around. He can slide down to the edge. He can blitz pretty well, and I'm pretty good in pass coverage. Had like 4 picks last year. And I made a comparison a while ago of him to Brian Urlacher. I don't know if that still stands. It was kind of on the fly comparison. I love Xavin. I think he's going to be very great. And I think him being the will alongside Chris Barnes is Mike, I think it'd be a perfect fit.
Yeah.
How you feel about that?
Xavin Collins is a very good player. I actually think he goes before their pick. I think if they want him, they'll have to trade up to get him.
Yeah, and I think we've traded up like the last 3 drafts. We ended up trading up to get Darnell Savage when we drafted Sean Gary. I can't remember who we traded.
Traded up last year to get Love.
Yeah, Love. And then 3 years ago, I think we traded up. I can't remember. Second round, some people say a bit of a reach, and some people say he won't fall this far, and I got Walker Little. He's a left tackle from Stanford. I think he'll slide over very well to right.
I got him graded out late second, early third.
Yeah. Man,
Which is so strange, which is just, 12 months ago, had him going in the first round.
Yeah, that's what's so crazy about some of these guys not playing during COVID. If they could very well have just spiked and fell off, especially a guy like Jamar Chase playing with a guy like Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Who showed to be the real deal when he was playing. And then third round, I got us finally getting a weapon. And I know it's a little late. And I know this guy might not be high on a lot of people's boards, but I'm on Ross St. Brown.
He'll be gone. I firmly believe he goes second round.
And he might. He very well could.
He is very talented.
Very talented. Could pop off at any moment. He's a guy like Goody likes. He's over 6 foot and he can run really fast. And I also think he's got really good hands.
He does. I really like him. Playing out there at USC, he's good.
Very talented player. And then I got Darius Stills trying to find a way to just get Dean out Lowry the heck out of Green Bay. Man, I like Kingsley. He can stay. He's not a pecker. He's a packer. He can stay. And I like Darius Stills. I think he'll be solid. Can play in the 3-4. Be Kiki. Do you love me? And then you have, I forgot his freaking name. Cue the elevator music. Kenny Clark, of course. And then you have Darius Stills.
Yeah.
And then 4th round, corner, again, too late. But we don't have enough picks in the early round. We better for to trade up. Kerry Vincent, corner. I've read that he can be a...
That's a good one, if he's there. It's another one that might not be there.
I had done another one where I had us, instead of taking a D lineman in the 4th round, I had us taking Israel Bukwamu, 6'4 corner, 6'3 corner who picked off Jake Fromm like 3 times a couple years ago. Very talented, very good man-to-man corner, but he just wasn't here, which freaking sucks. Then I got us going interior line trade deal. I believe a while ago
Yeah. Trey Hill was very sought after coming out of high school, and his college career has just been, solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, very solid. Nothing that wows you, nothing, Yeah, he's good. He's good. Yeah, and I could see him going earlier. I could see him going later.
Yeah. And then, this may be my Auburn bias, but another guy, 6 feet or taller, who can run really fast is Anthony Schwartz.
Yeah.
Really, really fast. He has drop issues, kind of like MVS, but, MVS is 5 inches taller. But Schwartz, let's get another fast guy. When you hear utility, Matt LaFleur just gets a boner immediately. So, and then we got Carlo Kemp, interior D lineman. Just another guy, big, and he's alive. So, Jamar Jefferson, who's another guy, pretty sought after last year. You don't know who I'm talking about, Dave.
Not right off the top of my head.
Oregon State guy, he was ranked pretty highly a while ago.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Malik Herrig. I don't know this man. I don't know who he is. But he was there. He was rated highly. So I took it. We're just a couple meatheads from Alabama. You can't expect us to know all this.
I really love the NFL, and I love the NFL draft. But there comes a point in time where you've scouted and looked up and looked at and watched film and looked up their numbers and where they come from and coming in, out of high school, into college, where sometimes our names just run together.
Yeah. And, I'll always have this comparison. College football, deeply loved. I love it more than the league. It is a very emotional high. Going to Jordan-Hare Stadium and watching the team.
Yeah.
And I am so invested in that. And then NFL is more of an analytical.
Yeah.
More of every little thing matters. And it's, a lot of people don't like the NFL. And I don't blame people for not liking the NFL.
I don't either.
It's
if you dislike it, that's your personal preference. But the thing about it is that really gets on my nerves is living down here in Alabama, where we live. People are like, I can't get behind the NFL because social justice, because they kneel for the flag, because they kneel and put their hand up in there. Listen, you can't, and I might be getting on my horse here for a minute. You can't look at the NFL in a different light because their players protested.
Yeah.
And then watch college football every Saturday and have the same beliefs and the same stance. Guess what? They marched. They protested too.
Yeah, and I kneel for no man except God. I will never kneel for anybody except God, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with kneeling for the national anthem, but the men who fought in those wars fought for our rights, fought for our ability to protest. And even if I don't agree with it, you go right ahead. I'm gonna do my thing. But I just can't watch
peaceful.
the NBA.
It was peaceful. They did it peaceful. They went out there, they knelt, they did it peaceful. I have no problem with anybody exercising their right to protest. What I have a problem with is people saying, you know, I can't get behind, I'm done with the NFL because they did this. And then turn right around and watch every Alabama or Auburn or Florida or Georgia football game, and knowing that the whole team and coaching staff all went out and marched and protested. The exact same thing. The only thing they didn't do was walk into the stadium on Saturday and kneel.
Yeah. And
But they still marched and protested for the same thing that the NFL players did.
yeah.
That's you can't have a bias, and then you can't have a belief when it comes to this, and then because I deeply love this, it don't matter.
It's like those people who go to church every Sunday. You know, I don't agree with abortion and everything, and then their little daughter, you know, they happen to make a mistake and they get knocked up, and then they'll go abort the baby, not tell nobody. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But you know, I do no abortion for me, ever. But you know, you can't go and march in the church. And you know, I disagree with abortion.
I think a better way to put what you said is we live here in Alabama, and those people will vote down gambling in the state of Alabama, and then hop on a party bus and go to Mississippi.
Yeah. Or
Hand to God, that happens all the time.
yeah, or those people who won't let us play the
Lottery.
here, and then they'll just take the drive to Georgia.
Yeah, go buy lotto tickets. Yeah.
I'm all for gambling if you want to. If you want to go blow your money that way, go to Vegas, do your thing. And if you want to go, I'll play the lottery when I'm grown. More than happy.
Yeah.
This is America. Do what you want as long as you ain't killing nobody, playing with no kids.
Or you're affecting my life.
Yeah, don't mess with my life. Don't push your feelings on me.
You know, that's the thing that gets me. And honestly, you know, the people I'm talking about probably never really were NFL fans to begin with.
And there's no problem with that. If you don't like the NFL,
Yeah, but don't stand on something, and then when it rolls around and it happens to something you love or you enjoy, you don't stand on it then.
that's why I
I
completely
disagree with what Coca-Cola did to their employees.
Oh yeah, so that was
So I don't drink Coca-Cola product.
yeah. That's the thing. You agree with Coke? Drink the Coke. I don't care. Do
Right.
your thing.
But I disagree with what they did, so therefore I can't support them.
Yeah, exactly my point.
You know, I have no problem with the NFL players taking a knee. I really don't. That's, you know, I've said it ever since. I don't like it.
I don't agree with it either.
I don't like it, but it's peaceful.
Yeah,
They're not going out here and looting and rioting.
that I could never get behind. They tore down so many businesses.
But
People put their life savings.
you know, when Nick Xavin and the players marched around Tuscaloosa, and they stopped and they had their little I think they were standing on the steps with a microphone and they were talking. You know, I forget what they said. Oh, Lord, that's been a while back.
About a year ago.
But I had no problem with it. But I did.
maybe.
A lot of people that had problems with what the NFL was doing, I called them. I told them, I said, you know, if you're going to stand for it over here, guess you're not watching Alabama football this year, are you? Because it's the same exact thing.
Yeah,
They're doing the same thing the NFL players were doing, but instead of doing it on Saturday during the national anthem, they did it on Tuesday. So let's say, you know.
If you don't want to stand for the national anthem, I find it extremely disrespectful to kneel But those men, you know, there's a lot of people in the military who support them, and, you know, we fought for our freedom, and it's freedom of speech. As long as you ain't hurting nobody, do what you do. That's why I decided to stay independent. You know, you go too far right, terrible people. Too far left, terrible people. It's on both sides, and then we both argue over the 2 or 3% or 4 or 5% who are out here tearing stuff up.
Yeah.
The 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5% who tore up the Capitol, and we just stay with it. You know, the feminist thing. You know, it's 5% of the little 14-year-old white girls with green hair who are saying kill all men, and then we're arguing about it. When really feminists are just like, we want to get paid the same. You know, that's ridiculous thinking, because you know you do get paid the same. But you know, if you want to protest it, protest it. Just don't go out there putting on hats with replicas of girls' genitals. You know, you want to march. Just don't mess up traffic. You know, road rage is real.
Just be safe. I think that's what he's trying to say. I don't know. He went off on something else.
I'm a 17-year-old kid, and I have my beliefs, and I deeply love my beliefs. But I'm not going to go out here yelling at people. What's it going to do? What's it going to do to yell at somebody who disagrees with you? What's it going to do to get on to somebody? What's it going to do to beat up somebody who disagrees with you? What's it going to do to attack someone? You know, that person just hates you now. That person just doesn't like you anymore. And then that one person going to go tell his friends, hey, this white guy picked me up. And then that group's going to tell another group of people, this white dude picked me up. Then now you're racist. You know, you got to make smart decisions. Like Steven Crowder, I love what he does. He goes out there, he has a little booth, says, you know, something like, I don't think Trump's racist. Change my mind. And then people, you know, you'll have 4 or 5 people come up, yell at him, you know, try and hit him. But then there's a bunch of other people who think Trump is racist, who sit down and have a great conversation. Who they don't agree, but they find something that they stand on.
Yeah.
If we had just more people like that, this country would be so much better. You know, we are the best country in the world. We have the most freedoms. But man, are we some idiots.
We got a lot of idiots. A lot of idiots. What it all boils down to is treat everybody the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Your beliefs don't matter. You know, if I see somebody walking down the street, you know, or not walking down the street, let me restart that. If I walk up to somebody in Walmart and they got on an Auburn hat, I'm gonna say, well, where are you going?
Yeah.
You know, if that strikes up a conversation, no matter whether the person is white, black, purple, blue, green, red, it don't matter. All right, we have something in common, so we start a conversation. We don't have to agree on everything we talk about. You know, I talked to this older dude at the Walmart the other day. He loved Gus Malzahn. He was not looking forward to this season because he wanted Gus back. And we walked away, you know, as peacefully as we came together. You don't have to agree with everything. You just have to treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah, if you lash out at someone, chances are they're going to lash out at you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't lash back out. Why would I lash back out? You lash out at me, and you just start yelling at me, you look like the asshole. But if we both engage in a screaming contest, we both look insane. You know, Alabama and Auburn, that's the biggest comparison I can find to politics in Alabama. Alabama fans and Auburn fans, you have the majority of them that get along. You know, let's say Alabama's left, Auburn's right. 95% of us, we get along.
Yeah.
Other 5%, you know, they're screaming in each other's face at Auburn game, at the football game. They're spitting on each other. But, you know, our grandmother, one of the biggest Alabama fans I've ever met in my entire freaking life. My grandparents, massive Alabama fans. We still talk football. We don't end up yelling at each other, though.
Not anymore.
You know, my Aunt T.T. and my new Uncle David, huge Alabama fans. We don't yell at each other. I've never, ever had an argument with them. My little cousin Davian, you know, he was an Alabama fan, and then he became an Auburn fan because of us. And he's not a huge college fan. He's more of an NFL fan. But, you know, we never yell at him. if we would all just find out that
Find that common ground.
yeah, we all have the same amount of nerves. You know, there's anomalies. You know, people have 6 fingers, but you know, most of us, we have 5 fingers on each hand. We have 5 toes on each foot. We bleed the same. You open us up, chances are we smell the same. I mean, if you open us up, we smell like Whataburgers. But you know, us fat boys, you know, got us open. We have liver, you know, kidneys. We have a heart. You know, you open up a skinny dude, kidneys, liver, heart.
We're all the same.
You know, we might not be as smart as a bunch of folks, but
anyhow,
sorry for the political rant.
We love doing this, and this show was more along the lines of what we do day to day, just talking about sports. You know, we sit at the table, and
you know, a lot of times we get more heated. A lot of times we end up getting a lot more heated than we do.
We do. But you know, like, subscribe. War Damn Eagle.
War Eagle. Hold up, I'm coming.